Hello everyone, and welcome to the Canton Fair China Trip webinar. We are so excited that you guys are all here with us, but before we begin, I just wanted to let you know, if you're not familiar with webinars on air, on your top left-hand side of the screen, you will see there are a bunch of buttons there. There's the chat. If you click on that, you can chat in the chat. There's also a button that has a question mark. That's where you'll leave your questions. We will be taking questions at the end. We will be answering them at the end. So you can put your questions in as they pop up along the way. So let's actually begin. So welcome everyone. We are Karen and Neil Gwartzman from Consider It Made, and we are the creators of the Private Label University. A place where entrepreneurs can go and get educated on how to effectively source, import, and private label products from anywhere. We are so excited to be speaking to you today about why visiting the Canton Fair in Guangzhou, China is so crucial for your business. Many of you are Amazon sellers and have been sourcing and importing products on sites like Alibaba or AliExpress. And some of you have been very lucky and have had great success, but some of you not so much. And as most of you probably already know from your experience on Alibaba or AliExpress, you never know what you get. Are you dealing with a manufacturer or a trading company? You don't know if you're getting the best prices or the best quality. Or even if you're just getting the best, period. So if you are looking to build your business, then building relationships online is a really tough thing to do. And it can really, really hurt your business. And that is why Neil and I put together this webinar to show you what the experience would be like attending the Canton Fair and how much money and time you would save by actually attending the fair. So today we're going to go over briefly what is the Canton Fair. We're going to do an overview of what the fair looks like inside, benefits of going to the fair, and is the fair for you, and how to attend. So we just got back a few weeks ago from the fair with an incredible group of entrepreneurs. Actually, some of the people on our last trip joined us because they were looking to start into the physical product industry, and they wanted to jump into sourcing and importing products to sell online on Amazon right away, and they didn't want to wait. And what better way to jump in and have access to everything in one place than the Canton Fair? But before we jump in and we take you through our journey at the fair, I know many of you have been following us, so I want to introduce ourselves to those who haven't been. We are Karen and Neil Gwartzman, the Private Label University. You can find us at the Private Label University on Facebook. We have a private group there. You're more than welcome to join. We have a radio show. But for those of you who are new to us, let us briefly introduce ourselves.
Well, hello, everyone. Over the last 35 years, I have been sourcing and importing and private labeling products from all over the world for some of the largest stores and chain stores, not just in the US and Canada, but in parts of Europe and South America. Places like Walmart and Carrefour and Michaels and Hobby Lobby are just to name a few. And I've imported over $1 billion worth of products, if not more. And with the excitement of online selling over the last 15 years, I have been approached by many sole entrepreneurs and retailers to teach them how to source and import from Asia, and especially in China. Some of these retailers who reach out to me include Amazon. So with the demand for this information, we created the Private Label University. And it's a place for the newbie and the most experienced importer to learn the step-by-step process of sourcing, importing, and private labeling from an international team who have been in the business for well over 40 years. And it's a team that I mentioned has been doing international importing and private labeling for huge retailers well before Amazon.
And that's right. I mean, what an incredible international team our company has built over the last 3 decades. Those of you who are with us on our last China trip got to meet some of our incredible team in China. And that is what we want to talk to you about today, about building relationships. And that is what you get when you go to the Canton Fair. It's really what it's all about. So let's get started and let us take you on our Canton Fair business trip of a lifetime. So for those of you who are new to the Canton Fair is one of the largest fairs in the world, and for over the last 60 years, thousands and thousands of manufacturers, factories, and trading companies have been coming to the fair to do business in China. Presently, there are over 60,000 vendors that attend the fair, just to give you a scope of how huge this fair is.
Now, the fair started actually in 1957, and it was known as the Chinese Export Commodities Fair. And the first visitors to the fair were only from a limited number of countries by invitation only, and those countries mainly being in Asia. And it wasn't until 1972, once the U.S. actually normalized ties with the Chinese government, it was actually in February of 1972 that 38 U.S. companies were invited to attend, and 44 U.S. buyers attended the 31st session, which was in 1972. So just to give you an idea, now we're approaching the 120th fair. So the fair has only been open to U.S. companies for 44 years. And for those 44 years, I have been attending them for almost 30 years. And that's pretty crazy when you think of it. I have seen all the changes and all the places the actual show has moved to, because it's moved in different parts of Guangzhou. And it's really incredible to see these changes and how large the fair has grown. And as Karen mentioned, it accommodates over 60,000 vendors and over $28 billion in sales, and over 180,000 overseas buyers attend the show every year. And the show is actually held twice a year, in April and in October. So there's a spring show and there's an autumn show.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely can see just by those numbers, it's a huge show. So let's first discuss, why do people go to the fair? Well, there are many benefits of going to the fair. One, to find products, of course, but new products that haven't even hit the market. To get better pricing, to build relationships, and really it's a one-stop buying show. It's a place where you get a ton of work done in such a short time. So let's talk first about one of the big benefits, to find products, but not just products, new products that haven't hit the market.
Yes, it's really important to know that this show is the show where manufacturers and suppliers will launch their newest products. They're not going to host them on Alibaba, because most of the companies that are showing on Alibaba are agents, or they're trading companies that have older products, or maybe products that they just see. The companies that attend these shows, they spend a lot of money and a lot of time to be at the show. And years ago, when I first started going to the show, the show would last almost 30 days. So they would make sure that they're all prepared for that show and they're there to meet with buyers. So it's very important. And the key was, when we took on our last visit there, taking our group, we'd introduce some product to some booths, and they'd see some products, and they'd ask where you're from. And some of our students were from, of course, all around the world, but the ones that were from USA, they'd say, "Oh, you're from the US? Well, we have this great product. We haven't shown it to the US market yet, because now we're only launching it in Europe. Maybe you'd be interested." And they go around the booth, they reach underneath the table, and they open up a box, and they say, "Here's the product. What do you think of it?" And you could be the first, and they'll say to you, "You could be the first to have this product. Are you interested in having it?" So you get, again, these companies are there to show products, and again, to show their newest products and what they've developed, because they're very proud of it. So you have this opportunity when you come with us to the fair.
Mm-hmm. Which is amazing. It's like getting a Christmas present. Another benefit is to get better pricing. China, for example, is known for their low prices. And being at a trade show as large as the Canton Fair, there's trade show prices. So you get even better pricing. And that's right. I mean, better pricing. So, they offer this fair price, or the show price, so that they entice people to come over. And, if you're in China, which is, a big trip to take, and they know that you're taking this big trip, they are ready to give you better pricing when you're there.
And it's true. And as Karen said, just with introducing of new products, they're there to do business. So the show price, or the fair price, they make sure that when you enter their booth, that they can entice you and attract you with what they have. So there's negotiating that goes along where, maybe they haven't even developed a price for the product because it's so new. But when you're there, they'll say, well, since you're at the show, since you spent the time, and they understand that you spent the time, you're serious in doing business, that you're there, let's make it beneficial. Let's do business now. You're here. You'd like to try this new widget or this new product. Here's the price. What do you think of it? And then you get feedback. So that relationship is building up right there at the show for the product and the best price.
And that takes us to the next benefit, building relationships. This is the key when doing international business, especially in China. The Chinese business etiquette is built around relationships, something very hard to do when searching on Alibaba. Relationships are hard to build when trying to build them online. Not only do you have a cultural barrier online, you also have an online barrier. We get questions all the time and concerns, is it safe to purchase online, through Alibaba? How do I send them money? Are they a real company? Can they be trusted? All the online security issues that you're worried about online, you don't need to be worried about at the fair because you are in person.
Yeah, it's very important to know, we've spent over 30 years doing business in China and around the world to build our team. And I am where I am today because of the relationships and building that international team, a team that we bring to the Canton Fair that you have an opportunity to meet and see how business is being done. Very, very important. And I've been traveling to China, in particular, to the Canton Fair, for close to 30 years. And during that time, building those relationships with manufacturers and building my team of employees all around Asia and, of course, especially in China. And we have an incredible team in China that are working during the day and night, all the time, all around, all the times of years to know what products to develop and the best products to introduce and what to find. And these relationships that we've built up developed not only from online relationships, but they were from years of traveling in person. It didn't happen years ago from just going online. I personally went to China and built those relationships, those close relationships with manufacturers and suppliers in person, with corporate China, with people in government positions, and with all the factories from northern China to southern China.
And what we've been noticing more and more as we talk to people is that there is a huge need to share this, to share the doing business in China etiquette. Companies in China want to work with you. They want to know you are real and that a business relationship is one that will grow with you. So they're no different than we are. We want the same thing. We want to make sure that they're real, that they're willing to support us in business. Again, a very, very difficult thing to do when you're not doing it in person. The companies that show at the Canton Fair look forward to having serious relationships with those who take the time to meet with them in person. And the best place to get it all done is in one place, the Canton Fair. China is way too big for you to be running around the country, meeting all the suppliers or potential suppliers. But at the fair, you have everyone in one place at one time, so a lot of business can be done. That is one of the main reasons, as Neil had mentioned, why we attend the fair every single year and why we provide live training in China at the fair.
And, that's what I used to do before the Canton Fair. I would go to many places in China and meet with manufacturers, again, all across Asia, from north to south, and to some areas that even people in China were not familiar with because of their remote location. But the key for me was to build these relationships that way. I would be gone sometimes for months just meeting with manufacturers and suppliers. But now with the Canton Fair, and over the past many years, I get a ton of work done in just 1 week. And that's what we bring at the Private Label University.
And a ton of work that's done in 1 week. And another benefit of attending the fair is really it's a one-stop buying fair. There is really nowhere like the Canton Fair. It's a place where you will find everything in one place at one fair. Over 60,000 vendors, suppliers that want your business.
That's right. It really is. It truly is a one-stop shop of manufacturers, suppliers, vendors, Asian, from all over Asia. and you get to meet them, that one-on-one experience. You get to see if they're real. You get to see who they are. You get to see what they represent. You get to see their products, touch them and feel them, and talk to them about the products and how they're manufactured. And that's a big development when you're in the physical product or the retail business to enhance and build your products.
I mean, you get a ton of work done in such a short time. The amount of time that you spend sourcing for new products, getting the best pricing, and building reliable relationships can take months, if not years, if you're only doing them on your computer on sites like Alibaba or AliExpress. And it can end up costing you not only in time with communication back and forth, but it's also costing you money by not having your products right away and selling them.
Success is about managing your time. And all the time you spend searching on Alibaba and AliExpress and other online selling sites and waiting for samples, that costs you money. Many of our students on the last trip, they went to the show. They launched their products the week at the fair. They met with suppliers and manufacturers. They were able to analyze the products. They were able to analyze their samples. Some of them they actually prearranged for samples to be brought to the show. They were able to negotiate the prices. They were able to organize how the shipping method was going to be, and then get their listing up. So they started advertising right away when they returned back home, and they were ready to launch that product. And this is what we call success at the Canton Fair, when you get everything done in that 1 week and you come back to doing more business and making money.
Actually, some people were even launching there at the show, even before they came back.
They found the product there, and they said, yeah, we're adding this product to our line.
Exactly. So when you go to the fair, imagine you're walking into Alibaba on steroids and live in person. So you don't have to worry about trade assurance and who is real and who's not. You get to see for yourself and make decisions based on what works for you. You don't have to wait for samples, as Neil said, or to see the product. They're there. They're in front of you. You can touch them, smell them, touch them, feel them, see them. And in most cases, you even leave with samples. So no more waiting for the samples to arrive to first, to find out that, your samples arrive and they're not even what you wanted, or there's issues with them. You can do all that right there at the fair. And the best part is Alibaba and all those other sites, they're not showing you what's new for the year. They're not showing you what hasn't hit the markets. So what you get done at the Canton Fair in 1 week is so valuable and literally can transform your business. Like I said, 1 week at the fair could take you months, if not years, of work. I mean, literally. So check out our testimonials on our website to see how visiting the Canton Fair literally has been transforming businesses. And you'll hear from every one of our students how it's literally transformed their business. So you can go over to our site over at www.privatelabeluniversity.com, and you'll see the testimonials there. It's absolutely worth it. Or even on our page that tells you about the Canton Fair, www.cantonfairtrip.com, and you will see all these testimonials. They are really amazing. So what does the fair look like? What does it look like inside?
So this is a key part, just so people understand the size of the fair and really what it looks like. It's a huge complex. The Peugeot area, the Peugeot complex, which is dedicated to the Canton Fair. The Canton Fair is actually held 2 times a year. So it's held in April and October, one being the spring fair, one being the autumn fair. And it's broken down into 3 phases at the show. So in each phase, they offer specific categories. And they basically list them. So in phase 1 is usually for the larger, for machinery, for automotive, for electronic, motorcycles and vehicles, anything automotive accessories, large home appliances, and then even agricultural items. Things they added lighting, so the companies that do chandeliers and etc., they're there as well. Phase 2, a huge phase. This is where you have kitchenware and general home accessories, toiletries, home care products, personal care products, watches and clocks, toys, which is a huge section, even electronic toys, which is now blended into it as well. You have home accessories, you have gardening products, outdoor furniture, pet products, pet food products. It's a huge, huge area. And of course, phase 3, another big area now where you have office products, craft products, art products, office supplies, office furniture. You have shoes and bags and textiles, a huge area for textiles and wear, children's wear, women's wear, hats and gloves. It's phase 2 and 3 are absolutely enormous. And in phase 3, they also added all the medical products and medical accessory products. So it really is just growing and growing. And those two, phase 2 and 3, attract a huge amount of buyers. And the fair consists of, again, over 60,000 vendors spread over many, many buildings. And if you look at this map, you'll see how large the fair is, but it really doesn't give it any justice because surrounding the fair, the Paozhou complex, are other buildings, part of the Guangzhou area, that are also holding shows. So they realize other, let's say a bag company sees that, they know so many people are showing up for that fair. We're going to hold another mini fair within that another building just outside the complex. So we go over a lot of that at the Private Label University in our program. But the show is really, really huge. And, again, we prepare everyone for the fair. Imagine the Jacob Javits building, which is in New York City, a huge complex. Imagine about 25 of those buildings. But they really set up how it's the categories and the signage for the buildings, because in every building you have multiple levels as well. And in each level you have more and more vendors. And the vendors are very wise in knowing how to display their products. And again, they know it's easy to attract buyers. So, there's golf carts in one section to take you from section to section. There's major intersections of the show which tell you, okay, if you go into this region, you'll have these buildings. If you go into this region, you'll have these buildings. So it's laid out well. And because I'm somewhat of an expert of the show and been going there, attending the show for so many years, for, again, almost 30 years, I know the setup and the best way in maximizing your time. And I also know, because I've worked the show, I've actually worked with manufacturers and exhibited the show, I know the best things that a lot of these manufacturers are looking to do to attract buyers. So a lot of times there's vendors and manufacturers that will set up in other areas of the complex where they know they're going to have and maximize the amount of people passing. So I call it the intersection of the show, where they know they can get 60, 70, 80,000 people passing at certain times of the day, and they'll set up their products there for people to test. And you'll see crowds around this area because they know the newest products are there. And most first-time exhibitors don't know where to go. And first-time visitors to the show don't know. But because I'm an expert at the show, I know where to take our clients and people from our program so they can see these amazing, amazing products. So you can see, again, how huge the fair is. Each building, again, is all set up for you. And we tell our students, and we really prepare them, that stay focused when you go to the show because the show is so big. And you won't see everything. It's really impossible because of the size of the show. But you need to have a plan so when you get there, you're going to be very productive. And we make sure that when you get to that show, you are extremely productive at the show. And that's why one of the bonuses of coming with us to the Canton Fair is that we prepare you for months in advance by giving you our Import Success Formula program. And this is the program that walks you through the sourcing, importing, and private labeling, everything you need to know about it, with focusing on shipping and customs and packaging and labeling and so much more. We give you our Import Success Formula program so that when you arrive in China, you are ready to start implementing everything you learn, start doing business, and start making more money. And we don't just leave you at the fair like some of the other trips do. Trust me, even the well-seasoned Canton Fair attendees get overwhelmed each year with the size and complexity of the show and how it's set up. And we make sure you are always with our private label university staff. Our staff are business people, interpreters, and they know the fair and how to do business at the fair and in China. And that's why our group is so successful when they go to the fair, because we mean business when we're there.
So we get asked a lot, can you do the fair on your own, and do you need an interpreter? And this is a great question. So I want to address this now quickly, as I know it's going to come up. So yes, you absolutely can attend the fair on your own, and no, you do not need to have an interpreter. However, in our years of experience and from feedback from our students and from manufacturers who exhibit at the fair, you will be more successful with your time and will gain a better experience, and in some cases actually gain more exposure to the newer products and better pricing if you are with a team that can help you navigate the fair and help you with the language and proper business etiquette to help with negotiations. And this we have found to be the case in every single fair that we have been to and have taken students to. So like I said, we don't just give you the training and then take you to the fair and then in 15 minutes tell you as a group, hey, okay, I'm going to go into this booth and watch me and learn, and then you're on your own for 4 days of the fair. We make sure that you have the support the entire time at the fair. So you are either going to be in a small group of 2 to 3 people or individually if you choose. And you're going to have an interpreter, a business partner of the private label university with you, a team member. They are going to help you express what you need and help you with negotiations so you are successful. And this is the key for success at the fair. There are many exhibitors who do speak English and many that do not. And having someone who speaks the language with you and knows business and knows the model that we teach through the private label university, this is very important to your success at the show. We've had people who've attended our trip who have never been to the fair on their own. And we've had people who have been to the fair and they got nothing done. They got nothing accomplished. And then they joined our trip and they had huge success. So can you attend on your own? Yes, you absolutely can. Will your experience be the same? Absolutely not. And that is why we're offering a program that offers an experience to learn at the fair, especially if you have never been to the fair before, or if you're not seeing the success that you wanted from the fair in the past. Which takes us to, is the fair for you? So only you can really answer that question. We're not marketers. We're not here telling you that this is it and there's nothing else. The fair is amazing. And huge things do happen at the fair. The fair is really for those people who are really looking to scale their business. They're looking for new products that you're not going to be able to find online on sites like Alibaba. You're looking for better pricing, you're looking for reliable suppliers, you're looking to build relationships and looking to build a serious business. The fair is not for you if you're looking to find a product and make a few dollars here and there and not really looking at investing in your business, because it costs money to go to China. It's not free. It costs money to do the training. This is not a trip to China to see the country. Yes, we do travel and we see a lot of the sites, but this is a business trip. It's for those of you who are serious about finding products, about building a business and making money, period. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you have not started selling on Amazon yet and you are just in the sourcing phase, or even if you're a seasoned importer. If you are not serious, if you are serious about finding products and making money, then this fair is for you. Just so you know, our last trip had about half newbies and half experienced Amazon sellers, all who left with huge success. So check out their testimonials on our website. Again, go to www.cantonfairtrip.com. You're going to see all the information there, and you're going to see the testimonials there, and they are so worth seeing. They're very valuable. So how to attend the fair? Now, you have choices. You can do it on your own, which many people do, or you can do it with a group that has 3 decades of experience at the fair. Both experiences are going to be very, very different. So let me walk you through the Canton Fair with the Private Label University. Our Canton Fair experience trip is very different than anything you'll ever experience. The trip is 8 days. It's an inclusive event where we will be attending 2 phases of the fair. So 2 phases, not just 1, 2. Phase 2 and Phase 3, the 2 largest phases. As well, we will also be putting on a 2-day VIP intensive in-house training where we will dive into sourcing and importing and teaching you top strategies on how to work the fair and how to do business in China. And part of the intensive training also includes visiting a local factory and learning hands-on how business is done in China, all encompassing masterminding each day. Now, before the trip, we're also going to give you a ton of value. Our company in China is going to arrange a visa invitation to China so that you can actually enter into the country. You need a visa to visit the country. We're going to arrange all that. We arrange an invite to the Canton Fair. You need to actually have an invitation from a company to attend the fair. We're going to hold 2 pre-China calls as a group to get you ready for the fair. We're going to give you a one-on-one personal call with both Neil and I to help you get focused so that you have the best success when you're at the fair. We're going to give you as a bonus our 8-week Import Success Formula program. So you are well ahead of the game and can start implementing what you've learned at the fair. And this program is all about, like Neil had mentioned earlier, sourcing and importing, shipping, customs, private labeling, Amazon, so much more. And this you're all going to get as a bonus when you sign up for this trip. So this is what it looks like.
So this is the Bayonne Airport in Guangzhou, China. It's an international airport. And just so, we make sure that, again, even if you're traveling alone, that the experience is seamless and very comfortable. So, we prepare you everything from once you get off that airplane, where you're going to go, through customs, getting your bags, and of course, getting to your hotel. And we've actually arranged for drivers to take you directly from the hotel, directly from the airport to the hotel. And that's very important because Guangzhou is a huge city with tons and tons of taxi drivers and people who claim to be taxi drivers. And a lot of them know that everyone's coming into the fair. And so they hang out at the airports trying to convince everyone to take their cars. And even when I first started traveling to China many, many years ago, would get ripped off. I would arrive at some of the airports, and even in Guangzhou, and they'd say, "Oh, it'll cost $25 or $30 or $40," and they take you to the back roads of getting there, and now it's $100, and they're not going to open the trunk to get your suitcase until you pay them. So we made sure we covered all points of necessities when going to China. So again, when you get off at the airport, you feel very comfortable. Your driver takes you directly to the hotel, and you feel at ease. Mm-hmm. Very, very important.
And speaking of the hotel, we stay at a gorgeous hotel. It's called the Langham Place in Guangzhou, a 5-star hotel. And just to keep in mind, a lot of the trips or companies out there do not include hotel reservations, and we do, and we love this hotel. So this is included in the trip. And just so you know, the hotel is literally walking distance across the street, like 20 steps. The hotel is not attached to the fair, as some may think. It is not attached to the fair, but it is literally across the street. And we've been staying at this hotel for many years and is one of the newer hotels. But the distance, it cannot be beat. I mean, it's an amazing location.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of times over the years since I've stayed in all the different areas that the complex has been, from when it was in the city core to where it is now in the Pazhou complex, it's very important because a lot of hotels will claim that they're very close or close proximity, and they say we have shuttles. Well, they don't tell people that those shuttle buses, since the traffic is so busy, that when they say 20 minutes, it's going to be 40 minutes to 60 minutes. And after a long day of being at the show, when you're ready to go back to your hotel and you have to be on a bus for another hour, hour and a half, maybe even longer, we made sure, and again, I've stayed in so many hotels in Guangzhou, This was a key place for the private label university to choose because literally right across the street, walk there, come back, very convenient, unbelievable accommodations, state of the art, and the service is spectacular.
Everyone loves this hotel. So great choice. And so just to kind of give you an idea of what we do is, so the first night we're going to have a meet and greet. Everyone's going to get to know everyone. And then the next day, it's all about taking action. We hit the fair. And as I mentioned, everyone will have an interpreter who is also a private label university business partner with them at the fair. So depending on your choice, you can be in a small group or you can do this privately. And Neil and I, we also split up our time at the fair so that everyone on our trip can get a chance to work with us directly one-on-one at the fair. And this is so important because no other trip or group does this. And, basically it could be because they just don't have the experience like we do. So we are literally going to give you our time at the fair so that everyone gets an opportunity to work directly with us and learn from us in action. The first 20 to 30 minutes when we get to the fair, it's all about getting your badge. So if you haven't been to the fair before, then you will be getting your badge with that invitation that our company has sent over to you, and you will get your badge. It's a super, super fast process. There are no special entrances, unfortunately, or any special process. Everyone enters the same way. There's just one entrance where, we all go in and we get our badges, but they have it down to a T. It's super, super fast so that, they want everyone in and start, doing business. So after a full day at the fair, we all meet back at the hotel, which is literally across the street, for our private bus. We have a private bus that picks us up each night for a mastermind dinner event. And we do this every single night of the fair. So we're going to go to these beautiful restaurants with delicious, yummy, yummy food. And we're in a private room with private people there serving us. And we're going to mastermind. And we're going to talk about the day's event and strategize for the next day. And it's really a rewarding experience.
Not just the food, but just all the masterminding. Intense masterminding with our group and our team.
Mm-hmm. So after 2 successful days of phase 2, because we're doing 2 phases, remember, we are going to take a break as the next vendors come in to set up for phase 3. We are going to take a break and we're going to be doing a 2-day event, a VIP intensive training session in the Langham Hotel. And this 2-day event consists of full days of training, masterminding, a factory visit, and we're going to also go to a real-life market place where literally you're going to experience how the people in China are doing business. We're going to go to their market and see how business is done over there, and you're going to see remarkable, unbelievable things. So it's an intense and fun 2 days of strategies, knowledge, implementation, where you're going to put your new skills to the test. And this is huge because we offer this intensive training in China and not only go over the sourcing and the importing and the shipping and the customs and the Amazon selling tips, but we teach you how to do business in China and what happens after the fair. And this is the key, what happens after the fair. This is where a lot of things get lost, and we are going to make sure that we cover it. Then what we're going to do is after those 2 days of intense training, we're going to head back to the fair for 2 more full days of sourcing into phase 3. So again, you're getting 2 phases, phase 2 and phase 3. And it doesn't stop there. We mastermind almost every night, which gets everyone prepared for another day of success. And even then, we kind of throw in between all that, excursion so we can see the city. So it is literally a trip that's nonstop. It's jam-packed. And I want to mention that if you are coming on your own and you don't know anyone, no worries, because you're always going to be with someone because you're always doing something with us, which is amazing.
And it really is a place when you're in China with the Private Label University and our team. It's a place of building new friendships as well. We had many men and women on the trip that came with spouses or on their own who didn't know anyone. And everyone was surrounded and supported by our group and our team. And it was a wonderful experience for personal and business growth, and essential in the growth of your company.
And, it's all about, like I mentioned earlier, it's about building relationships in China. So let me quickly go through what's included, and then let's break for some questions. So what's included? Okay, well, you get to visit 2 phases of the Canton Fair. You're going to have 4 days of hands-on experience at the fair. We're going to have that meet and greet. We have daily training and coaching, daily personal strategizing, so you're successful every single day. You have the gorgeous Langham Place Hotel accommodations. We have traditional Chinese breakfasts and dinners included, private city tours. You have the hotel transportation to and from the fair. Actually, it's literally walking distance. We don't even use that. But you will have transportation from the airport to the hotel on the day of arrival. You're going to have the interpreters, our business partners, helping you the entire trip. You're going to have private interpreters if you request. Continuous personal support during the fair. You're going to have the private one-on-one mentoring at the fair with both Neil and I. Tons of networking opportunities. We have the farewell dinner reception, and not only are you getting the one-on-one before the trip and the Import Success Formula program, that 8-week program that we're throwing in as a bonus, you're also going to get a one-on-one private coaching after the fair with Neil and I, so we can get you on track with what to do now after the fair as well. You're also going to get that bonus of the 2-day in-class live VIP training and factory visit, which is huge. That's like a $3,000 value. And there's so many more bonuses that we throw in along the way as well. And you can probably hear a lot of that, or some of them. Hopefully no one reveals that in the testimonials, but we do throw in a lot of other fun bonuses along the way.
And you really have to go to our website to see those testimonials, because it's amazing what people say and the success they've had from visiting the show.
So we really have our bases covered, and there's really nothing you have to worry about when attending the Canton Fair with us. You just got to get there, and we do everything else. We got you covered, really. So we know how hard it is as a business owner and as an entrepreneur to pick up and leave your family and your business really for 1 week and to go to a place that you've never been, where they're not speaking your language, to do business. It could be quite scary, and we totally get that. But we cannot stress how incredibly rewarding it is to be doing this with like-minded entrepreneurs. And I cannot tell you how many times I've heard, even just from our last trip, how excited and how much success people were having at the Canton Fair. So again, like Neil said, check out our testimonials. The trip was a business trip of a lifetime, and it's changed every one of their businesses, every one of them. I mean, you can hear it. I mean, they all left with new products, samples, connections, new relationships. I mean, launching their business. Again, go over to www.cantonfairtrip.com. You'll see everything there. It truly is amazing. We hear a lot, it costs so much to go to China, and I don't have the money to invest to go. Let me tell you, if you are really serious about making money and about building a sustainable business, then this really is a no-brainer. If you are in business, you need to invest money in your business to make it grow. That's just how business works. Like I said, the fair is for those of you who see the value in investing in their businesses. It actually costs less in time and money when compared to all the time and money lost when sourcing online on online sites like Alibaba and AliExpress. You can search on Alibaba and hope you are getting what you think you are getting, and wait for your samples, and wait for communication, and wait for your shipment, or you can in 1 week get it done and start seeing your business making money. We're not marketers, and we're not here to sell you the idea that with $50 you can make $1 million by selling on Amazon or buying your products on Alibaba. That's all BS. It's marketing. We are here just to share with you what has been working for us and the big chain stores for over 35 years. We are here to teach you about an industry that we have been a part of for over 3 decades, a very lucrative industry. And we have built up our personal business and reputation by attending the Canton Fair and personally making relationships. And that is what the core is behind a strong, sustainable business. So to learn more about our China trip and the 2-day intensive program, you can go to the website www.cantonfairtrip.com. And you can see here the price of the trip is $11,997, and we're offering $2,000 off until this date. You can see it on the screen here. So it's making the trip now $9,997 until that date, and then it's going to go back up to the original price. So look at the trip again over at www.cantonfairtrip.com. There's so much, you're getting so much value here, and check out the testimonials. They're real, they're from their heart, and it's just an incredible experience, something that you will honestly never be able to experience anything like this except through the Private Label University. So thank you all for attending today. We are going to actually open up to some questions and start answering them.
Yep. And as Karen mentioned, it really is, it's a life-changing experience and a business-changing experience. Because it can not only, if you're launching a business, but even if you've been in business for 20, 30, 40 years, you're now propelled into the next level to make be even more successful. So huge, huge value.
So here are some questions. Let's just jump into here. Will you teach us how to use our time best at the fair?
Definitely. Especially in our import success formula, prior to going to the show, we make sure you're well prepared, well equipped with all the information you're going to need about what to expect, what to bring, things to have with you, things that may happen at the show as far as being prepared, electronics and things you should have. We make sure it's seamless for you and that it's going to be the best business experience as well as cultural experience.
And not only are we going to teach you how to navigate around the fair and how to be successful in the fair with, giving you tips and strategies and things that have worked for us and other people, but we're also going to teach you what happens after the fair. And that is huge because really that's the hardest and most important part. It's the follow-up and it's about taking action after the fair. So right. Great question.
And the key also is that, you're always with us at the fair. You're not alone. Whereas a lot of those programs, they say, we'll come down and we'll teach you, and then you're on your own and you don't know what to do. We're with you all the time. Our team is with you to help you all the time.
And that actually takes us into the next question, which says, will we have your time at the fair? And absolutely. I mean, that's what we're going as a group. We're going together, and things are going to come up. You're going to be able to pull us aside even after the fair, during the fair, when we're, if we're together. And, we get pulled out aside after, the end of the day or at dinner just to ask questions about things that have come up or ways of strategizing for the next day if something comes up or things that, you've thought of. So it's not just here I'm teaching in front of a class and you're on your own. We are working with you. You get a ton of personal time with us.
And with our
that's
team.
The key. And with our team. Yeah, absolutely. And that's important. And that's what stands us apart from a lot of the other trips out there is that you actually get us. And we get to know everyone really, really well. Again, creating relationships. So it's a great way. Another question here is, will you teach us about how to find freight forwarders and custom brokers? We hear that a lot.
Yeah, we do. We talk about, of course, in our import success formula, we talk about customs brokers and logistics and freight forwarders. But the great thing is at the show as well, when we break into those 2 days of intensive training, we go into detail and depth about the products and the categories and customs, anti-dumping, being descriptive on your paperwork and your documentation, where the products are categorized. Is it worth it? Because, what is it, the harmonized code for it? What is the tariff for it? What is the cost to import it? Do I use air? Do I use ocean? and then looking at the best time of year to import that product, as well as looking at ocean and air, even with whether it be samples or your main shipments, because rates will change during the year.
Knowing
custom changes all the time, and we make sure we keep up to date. We get emails from customs every day about changes that are going on, so we definitely go into intensive training and Q&A about that.
Okay, great question, good question. So how do I get a visa? And this is a common question too. So we're going to walk you through all that. We go through everything, is how to get a visa. One thing, in order to get a visa to enter the country, you need to actually have someone...
An invitation.
Give you an invitation. So our company in China will write that invitation so that you can then apply for your visa, and we go through all that.
Yeah, we don't personally get you your visa. We get you the invitation and give you all the information for you to submit to get your visa.
It's like getting a passport.
Right.
So I have retail stores, and I also sell on Amazon. Is this still a good fair for me to go to?
Absolutely. Whether you're have a huge online Amazon or any type of online platform for selling products, that's great. But as a retail store, whether you're a chain store or an individual entity, you must be part of this. You must go to the show, because you're probably buying from suppliers who are maybe buying from China or maybe buying through another supplier who's buying from China. And a lot of times when I meet companies, they say, I buy directly from China. And I say, where are they located? And they say, Seattle. Well, Seattle isn't in China. What you're doing is you're buying from a distributor or a supplier or even a manufacturer who's then buying from other companies in China. So imagine now if you can cut out all those middlemen and buy directly from China at the source and see those savings. So if you bring a product that you may be buying from a supplier that you're paying $5, and all of a sudden the manufacturer at the show is saying, it's only $1, it's like, now look at your profit margins. So, and we talk about that. And we talk about, as a retail store, what to implement, what products to look for, and again, strategizing on negotiating for price and for private labeling. Mm-hmm. So absolutely. Definitely, if you're a retail store, you should be at the show with us.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So another, we're going to have to wrap up here because we're coming to the end. But if for some reason we don't get to all the questions, I see there's a lot of questions, that's no problem. You can also email us over at info@privatelabeluniversity.com, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Or go to our Facebook page, Private Label University. It's a private group. If you're not already in it, please ask to join, and we will set you up in there. And you can ask us questions there as well. We'd be more than happy to answer them. So if we don't get to your questions, those are a great way, especially on the Facebook page, to get your questions answered. So do I need shots? This is another question that we hear a lot of. Do I need shots to go to China? So you do not need shots to go to China. However, you do want to be up to date with your shots that you do need to have, being in whatever country you are in. You want to make sure you're up to date. It's always best to ask your doctor if there's any shots that they feel that is recommended, but it is not from the States going into China. There are no recommendations, any special shots that you have to, and when I say shots, I mean vaccinations that you have to get. So, and then the other question is, what's the food like?
Food is absolutely amazing. Our dinners that we arrange are incredible. And of course, at the Langham Place Hotel, the food there is sensational. And the breakfasts with the accommodations are just unbelievable. The selection is just eternity. Everything you can imagine, from just
everything
from Western food and Asian food. Yeah,
it's not Chinese food that we think here in America.
There's no egg rolls and fortune cookies. No. You have fresh fish and fresh seafood and fresh vegetables and steamed and boiled and it's just absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best food you'll ever have in the world. And
yes, it is safe to eat. It is delicious, absolutely delicious. The only thing I'd say is the water. I wouldn't drink the water. I think it even says it in the hotel, don't drink the water, even though the hotel, it probably has safe water. It's always safe no matter, where you go, is to use the
bottled water is everywhere.
But the food is incredible. And the restaurants that we take you to, especially in those private rooms at night when we go to private, when we're doing our mastermind, we're in a private room. I mean, absolutely stunning. And the food is incredible. So you definitely don't think
you never go hungry.
Don't think you're going to be going and losing weight.
Yeah.
I actually came back and gained weight. The food was incredible. So you'll definitely enjoy that. But again, thank you all so much for joining us today. Again, go over to www.cantonfairtrip.com. You can see it on the screen. All the information is there in detail, much more detail, as well as you'll see the testimonials and stuff. Listen to them. They really are incredible experiences that people got from the Canton Fair. I mean, it really is a place. If you have a physical product, if you sell anything, you sell a product, Canton Fair is really the place you want to be. It's like your one-stop shop. You're going to see new products that haven't hit the market. You're going to get the best pricing. I mean, it's really, all this in 1 week, what people accomplish,
and you get us. You get you work with our team, a team that we've built for over 30 years in Asia.
And they help you throughout the whole trip. And, they're amazing. So we're here to help. We're here to guide you. And if you have any questions, please find us over at Facebook at the Private Label University. Join the group. We'd love to hear from you. And we will talk to you soon. And we will see you in China.
See you then.